talk a bit about the Sainte-Chapelle you've just seen earlier today. So guys, come close to me if you cannot hear me. I will try to keep my voice for the rest of the day. If I keep on shouting, I will just whisper by the end of the day. All right, so we're right at the center of Paris, which is also right at the center of the game. Max and Mo can come with me on the frame. So this is Notre Dame, if you don't know what it is. This is the biggest cathedral we have in Paris right now. It was built and actually ended roughly in 1310, which is good for us because it's also the end of the Templar Order. And that's very interesting because it's a staple for the AC franchise to actually have in-game one of those places in time where you know that something is going to happen. So Paris is the death place of the Templar Order, and that's something quite interesting for the AC lore. So Notre Dame is also very interesting for us because it's the biggest landmark we've ever built on ACU. It's on a 1-to-1 scale. It's at least 4 times as AC Brotherhood Coliseum, so it's really big. Caroline, which is the liver artist who made the cathedral, took 2 years to make it entirely inside out. So it's really big, and it's on a 1-to-1 scale again, inside and out. All right. So right here on the Ile de la Cité, you see we're on the Parvis. So if you just look right behind you, you will see the outline on the ground of the old buildings that were here on the plaza. So you have to picture a much narrower, much smaller Place du Parvis than we have right now, and you'll see that in the game. It's Paris during the French Revolution is a much more cramped, dense city than we have right now. Right now it's big and open thanks to Haussmann renovation of the 19th century, but during the French Revolution, it's really a cloaca of where people were dying because of the actual promiscuity of the city. So we're going to go inside Notre Dame. I won't talk that much inside the cathedral because I can't, but what you have to see is the actual scale and level of detail that is really comparable to what we have in the game. And it's also a very important place on ACU. Many of you have seen the Gamescom demo where the actual assassination of Charles Gabriel Sivière is happening right here. It's not just historical accurate reproduction of the cathedral, but also a playground for us, which is really important. In ACU, it's a lot of those structures in Paris, which is the noise and people in the streets, and the much quieter inner courtyards in the Persian rooms. You can help him in the and you will probably see more angry Parisians trying to go through you because they have something to do. It's have to do it right now.
So would they do that in the game as well?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
You run faster than them, so yeah.
So was it a courtyard where the first guillotine was just tested out?
Well, the thing with the guillotine is that Guillotin was the most human man because he wanted to make sure that people who were punished for the capital sentence actually died the same way. During the Middle Ages, nobles could be decapitated by a sword, right? So sometimes you miss, it's hard, you can hit the neck or the head, it's not really pleasant. And if you're not a noble, then you just get hanged. And it's not really humane, you can die a horrible death, it takes an awful lot of time. Actually, before the reign of Louis XVI, you had Louis XV, his father, was almost killed by a guy called Damien. And regicide is a very, very grave crime in France. And that guy, to actually punish him, they had to unearth old medieval torture ways. So he was tortured for more than a day. And it was really hard to find the ways. He was dismembered, he was the wheel punishment, it was horrible. And Louis XV was really horrified by this. And it was really, it stayed for a long time in French memories. And Guillotin said, no more, we need to find a way to kill people the most efficiently possible and the most human way. And he was really appalled by the fact that the machine got his name because he didn't invent it. He was that German engineer. He was just the guy passing the law saying those people should die this way now. So he was really not happy that his name was associated with the death machine.
Makes sense.
You wouldn't, right? Some people would like it, but... C'est bon? Wait. Oh yeah, the Procop. Right, so the restaurant we just had our lunch into was a very famous place during the French Revolution. As you can see, they really tried to make that revolutionary spirit live on in the restaurant. It was one of those places where the revolutionary people would gather and fire up storms. The most notorious of those is in the Palais Royal on the right bank, where Camille Desmoulins, which was one of the friends of Robespierre, in front of a building which was really similar to that, the Café de Foix, started the not the revolution, but the actual uproar uprising that went up to the taking of the Bastille Day in 14th of July 1789. So it's in one of these places where people gathered and exchanged ideas, and that went up to the revolution. Okay, so guys, here we are at the very center of Paris. We're on the bridge called the Pont Neuf, which means new bridge in French. That guy is Henry IV. He was the king that actually made that bridge a reality. This is the first stone bridge in Paris. All bridges before that were built in wood. So even if it's called new bridge, it's the oldest one in Paris. What you have right there is what we call the Place Dauphine. Is at the very tip of the island where we are right now. So all those elements you'll see exactly like that in the game. The bridge, the Place Dauphine, the statue. Right behind us is where Jacques de Molay, the last Grand Master of the Templar Order, was burned by Philippe le Bel in 1314. So you see the epicenter of the Assassin's Creed mythology coming in here. So again, you have the left bank on the south right here, and the right bank in the north. So we're going to continue up to the Louvre, but that place in the game is exactly like that. So if you want to take pictures and see, how it behaves, you will see exactly the same kind of vista in the game. Also, a very interesting fact: that statue was destroyed at the end of the French Revolution, and when they rebuilt it, they actually hid inside the statue a time capsule by the guys that constructed it. When it was renovated and X-rayed, we saw that time capsule, and it was extracted from the statue. It's also showing the fact that Paris is really full of weird, interesting mysteries like that we do exploit in the game.
What's it? Wait a minute.
Yes.
Okay.
So someone hid an object inside the statue when he built it. And it was renovated and X-rayed, because that's what we do now with monuments. And that's where we saw that something was hidden inside.
And what was inside?
It was a time capsule of the guy that made the statue, talking about the time, talking about, hey, for anyone who finds it, I did hide that thing inside.
Something.
Yeah, he wrote something. Yeah. The king nobility in France. This is where the first actual castle was built. That wing down south is 200 years younger than that wing down north. This was built by Henry IV, the guy that you saw the statue on the Pont Neuf, to join with his mother palace, the Tuileries, that has disappeared right now, which would still stand there on the very tip of the Tuileries Garden. The Tuileries Garden is really important for us because we have a very major event happening there during the French Revolution, which is the taking of the Tuileries to actually expel the king from his seat to go with the Republic. So right now you are really at the very center of where the king monarchy would live. And again, this has been transformed into a museum during the French Revolution. So you're going to be able to see the Louvre Museum, you're going to be able to see the Tuileries Palace in ACU, where we have the events happening. Just a little bit, we might be able to go down south to see the foundation of the Tuileries. So we're going to the garden. The Tuileries means tile workshop, basically. That's where on the garden the tiles were made. And it was built this way, so Catherine de Medici, which was the mother of Henry IV, would not have the stench of the Seine River. So you see, on that wing, which is really old, you had all the fumes coming from the river, but on the other hand, you didn't have it, so that's where it was built. All that street right here is the La Rue de Rivoli, which was built by Napoleon I in the first attempt to try to make a modern Paris. During the French Revolution, all that space is actually streets and standard buildings. This is all filled up with standard buildings. So all those buildings have been erased to make stand for the museum. What you see behind me is the Place de la Concorde, which is the very famous beginning of the Champs-Élysées right there. You see the Arc de Triomphe right behind, okay? So this is the great axis of Paris, starting in the Louvre, going the Tuileries, the Jardin des Tuileries where we are right now, Concorde, Champs-Élysées, Arc de Triomphe, up to the very modern district of the Arc de la Défense. So on the Place de la Concorde, that's where during the French Revolution the guillotine was installed. After 1792, that's where everyone is dying, including Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. Interestingly or funnily enough, Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI were wed in 1770 on that very place, which was at the time called Place Louis XV, Louis XV, which was his father. The thing is, during their wedding, many people died for many reasons. First, they replaced water in the fountains by wine. Many people drank too much wine. Some people were trampled, and many of them died.
What?
Yes, there was a fireworks, and because of the fireworks placement, some of them exploded, and also lots of people died. So during the day where Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were wed, many people died, which was some bad omen. And actually, 30 years later, they were guillotined, both of them, on that very place. So you'll see when we go inside the Place de la Concorde, you have the obelisk, which was placed there during the 19th century. if you look up north, you see the Madeleine, which is also mirroring the Palais Bourbon, which is the National Assembly right now in France, and the bridge, which is leading to the left bank, was built with the stones of the Bastille when it was dismantled. So this is a central pivotal place of the French Revolution. That's where we're going to take them. Many of you might have seen the Gamescom demo we had in Cologne a few months ago. So in the game, have you seen when we were out of the bus, you see the Pantheon, this is the tomb of the great men of France. It was transformed from a church to being that type of monument during the French Revolution. The first great French person that was buried in the Pantheon was Mirabeau, which is the father of the French Revolution. In the game, he plays a very important role. And when the Tuileries were taken, so remember the palace in which the king was living was taken by the conventions in 1792, they discovered within the palace some very compromising documents which were letters of exchange between Mirabeau and the queen. And after they discovered that, they took Mirabeau out of the Pantheon to bury him in a communal graveyard. Because fuck Mirabeau, he's a bastard, let's have their true revolution. So you see this is an important place for the game as well, because we have the Luxembourg, which during the French Revolution was a prison, and in the co-op mission you get to kill one of the most horrible nobles in France at the time.